Nuriootpa High School was the venue as Premier Jay Weatherill and his ministers mingled with Barossa residents to hear their grumbles and gripes as part of the Community Cabinet initiative. Disappointingly, less than 150 locals showed up, but those that did made the most of the opportunity to chat to those elected to run the state. It took on a distinctly country meeting feel. The locals, mostly from the Conservative side of politics, polite with ministers as they yarned about everything from the weather to the coming vintage season, all while chatting over barbecue sausages, from Linky's Butchery, of course. Then the formalities began.
I'd like to acknowledge all of my ministry, the state government ministers, including the Honourable Jeff Brock, who's the Minister for Regional Development, who's been the driving force behind these country cabinets. We have 3 of them each year, and this is the second for this year. We do that. I just want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing here with these country cabinets. The ministers have already been here this afternoon having individual meetings with members of the community, one-on-one meetings. And today is the opportunity for a more public forum. And the ministers are more than happy to answer any of your questions, and if they don't know the answers, they'll look at the back of the hall and hopefully a senior public servant will offer themselves to answer the question. But really it's about looking forward to hearing your views and ideas about how we together can practically improve the lives of the people that we represent.
Despite statewide job woes, the Premier said the Barossa was well placed for the future.
2 of the mainstays of your economy here are actually 2 of the areas that we think are the great hope of the side, the tourism area and also food and wine. So there are many opportunities and together we need to find a way of exploring them and making sure that we're all successful together.
Then it was the people's turn as the brave took on the combined might of the ministry. The questions ranged from traffic infrastructure and the lack of road maintenance to concerns about the region's hospitals, mental health facilities and the lack of adequate public transport in the Barossa. Ministers responded in a forum not unlike question time in Parliament, but without the yelling and heckling. Perhaps Barossans are far too polite. It was, regardless, a useful exchange, with the Premier promising to follow up on the questions. For the most part, the locals were impressed too, and the 2-hour session came to an end surprisingly quickly.
Thank you for making it what it's been, and thank you all for participating this evening. Thank you.